ball in your side, businesses. You have to do business together, and what is need from the government support you, at least not to disturb you, but support you. Good luck to all of you, and thank you for this initiative. And go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister. And right now, your colleague, the second diplomat of the Republic of Poland, Mr. Marcin Przydacz. We know the telebridge is operational right now. Welcome, Mr. Minister.
Mr. Deputy Minister, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to participate online in this hybrid event. It is important to remember that Poland and Armenia are regional leaders in technological industry and IT sector. Naturally, there is big potential of cooperation between our countries in this area. The main purpose of this conference is to boost and promote cooperation that should contribute to the modernization and digitalization of our countries. It is our duty to ease contacts between startups with venture capital funds and corporations. In coming years, Polish Embassy in Armenia, in cooperation with startup hubs and venture funds from both countries, will organize calls for proposal for the best startup projects in chosen thematic areas. The condition of participation at this the call for proposals will be announced by the organizers in coming months. Therefore, I'd like to take this opportunity to cordially invite Polish and Armenian startups to participate in these events. Today, there is among us the CEO of Warsaw Stock Exchange, Dr. Marek Dietl, who has significant achievements in financial support of startups and their acceleration. He will explain in details the activities of the Warsaw Stock Exchange that can be used also for boosting Polish-Armenian cooperation in this field. Polish and Armenian partners can take advantage of the preferences offered by the Polish government within the framework of the project called Poland Business Hub. The PBH, as we call it, has been designed to connect the incoming entrepreneurs with domestic investors. Now, let me present briefly how the PBH works. For each business idea that is qualified to the program, a detailed plan of its implementation will be prepared under the professional supervision. As a follow-up, companies that have successfully completed the process of implementation may apply for co-financing for the initial activity of their business. Polish and Armenian startups, while cooperating, can enjoy the short track of visa processing and other facilities, registering a company, work permits, and the registration of the longest stay. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you the fruitful and successful talks and hope that this event will stimulate creativity among Polish and Armenian young innovative talents. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister. I'm happy that thanks to the technical capacities we can hear you, no matter the fact that it's half a continent that divides us today, but intellectually, mentally, and in terms of the common ethos, we are really in the same place together with Armenia and Poland. Thank you very much for mentioning Poland Business Harbor. I will try to cover this element, this point also in our upcoming sessions. Talking to upcoming sessions, we have the guest that Mr. Minister has already introduced. His name is Marek Dietl, and he is the head of Polish Stock Exchange in Warsaw. The stock exchange that emerged 30 years ago with a huge success in a very turbulent time when we were shifting from communist affairs in economy into a free market or semi-free market and then free market. And the Warsaw Stock Exchange right now is not only a place where you can buy and sell assets of also also very innovative companies. But it is a place very welcoming for startups. I am participating in many events. Some of them are even help in organizing, because Warsaw Stock Exchange, probably right now in Poland, is one of the major advocates for young talents to develop their solutions, their technologies, to materialize products, enter with these products to the market, not only Polish market, and then when the winds blow in good direction and the work is really intensive and some luck is attached, startups can also IPO in Warsaw Stock Exchange. So I propose, this is what the agenda says, that we will smoothly go back to Warsaw, where Marek Dietl is waiting for us with his presentation about the capital market in Poland, the public market. Sir?
Thank you very much for this kind introduction. I have a technical question. Can I share the presentation with participants before I start?
Yes, of course.
Because there is no this usual sharing button in my Zoom. So it's not possible
From the place where I am sitting, I can only say that the technical crew just lift up the thumb, saying that everything is okay, and please try right now. Maybe right now this function.
So you see my presentation?
Let us check. We see the banner of the conference, that's for sure. And the technical team is working right now on displaying your presentation. As I see, it will take a little while.
Let me slowly start. And then maybe issue.
But Mr. President, are you presenting right now? Yes? Are you sure?
Presentation, but I don't have a button to share the screen, so I'm wondering, because this is different Zoom, and I have my presentation open, but I cannot see how I can share it. But it doesn't matter if I can share or not. I would prefer to share it, but if it's not possible, I will start. So, dear Minister, dear Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, thank you very much for having me today. After what I heard, I decided to delete slightly from my initial presentation, and I will start with our short information on our core business, namely that we are means the stock exchange, so we are primarily focused on the public market. And last year we had a clear proof that capital market can support, in the local capital market, the post-capital market can support scaling up the companies. And I'm referring to the case of Allegro, also the 10th largest e-commerce platform in the world. And we had IPO, which valued the company around $20 billion, and the company raised more than 2 billion euros. So we don't have to go to Nasdaq, we don't have to go
We can try to share
London.
You can tell them you can
just
share
stay
screen part.
within the
Or you don't want to
Central
interrupt.
Eastern Europe and raise money for sustainable or sufficient amount of money, like 2 million euros. So that would be my first message to you and to the current Armenian startups ecosystem. We are, as was already mentioned, that we are 30 years old. But actually, our stock exchange was created first stock exchange in Warsaw was created in 1870, so 204 years ago. So we can say that we have a rather long tradition of trading. And even in 1871, the largest IPO of Europe was actually Polish Bank Handlowy, IPO on the Warsaw Stock Exchange. 19th and 20th century was the bank note for Polish history, as it was for Armenian history. And so there was ups and downs in our trading activities. And the restart of our stock exchange happened in 1991, when it was actually with plenty of global or international economic advisors were discouraging us from doing so, as Poland at this time experienced high inflation of 12% per month. We were out of the financial markets due to default on our foreign debt, and we also had a contraction in GDP in 1990s, a year before the stock exchange was started, of 16%. So it was quite an unusual decision that under such an unfavorable macroeconomic condition to start the stock exchange. But after 27 years, 2018, we were upgraded to the developed capital market status according to FTSE Russell. So actually, we are among those top 25 capital markets of the world. In 27 years, maybe if you are 23 years old, sounds like eternity. But actually, if you compare it to South Korea or Israel, they needed over 50 years to qualify to developed capital markets. So we can say we rushed through all the stages of development of our capital market. Currently, most up-to-date numbers are that our market capitalization as a percentage of GDP is roughly 30 to 46%, compared to, for example, 17% for Hungary, and average of the European Union of around 55%. So we are well on track of reaching EU level. Of course, we are much less developed than UK or US, the capital markets, but still in the central industry, not only in absolute numbers, but also in relative numbers, we are quite we are clear market leader. Just to give you an idea, among 12 countries of Free Seas initiative, Free Seas is, for example, Bulgaria, Czechia, but also Austria. So those countries of the eastbound of the European Union, we have 57% market share in trading volumes. So we are twice as big in terms of trading volumes, for example, Vienna Stock Exchange. We are the market leader of the region. What else I can tell you about our stock exchange is that we are in final stage of negotiating a merger with Armenian Stock Exchange. So I really wish I could be with you today in person. I have great memories from my trips to Erevan. And actually, Erevan is not that far from Warsaw, if you think about it. Not everyone is aware of the fact that actually the distance between Madrid and Warsaw is greater than between Warsaw and Erevan. So actually, Armenia is not only historically but also geographically quite close to Poland. Topic of today is startups. So stock exchange suppose is not the prime source of raising money for startups. So let me show you a short update on Polish VC market. This is the primary source of raising money, and this market is developing extremely fast in the last 3 years. Actually, in the last 9 years, we had an active role of government in our venture capital industry. The market increased by 862%, so it's incredible. And actually 66% of current investors, which are around 500 million euros per year, come for private funds and slightly more than 1/3 of government-supported funds. But without this government support, this takeoff in the Polish venture capital market won't be possible. Just to give you proportion, if you check the Polish capital market versus US capital market, and you compare Polish VC market and US VC market, you can see that they are almost on par. Polish capital market is proportionally a little bit bigger, but we were enjoying the growth of 30 years, and this tremendous growth of Polish venture capital market was just in the last 10 years. How we as a company support early stage projects? So first of all, we have accelerator, and we welcome. We have already accelerated 6 startups, and we offer funding of 50,000 euros per startup, and this is just initial money, and this is kind of grant money, also free money for those startups to test if they can work with us as a new product provider or supplier or whoever. We, for example, incubated Extreme Robotics, it's a software robots. We also work with QuantKit, there's AI for financial markets, capital market, Jaffe for authentication technology. We also incubated Transaction Link, and Transaction Link is PSD2 company. So in a nutshell, allows a kind of infrastructure for fintechs to build, and we not only incubate this company, but along with 2 global venture capital funds, we invest in this company later on in we'll be happy to accelerate more Polish or Armenian startups which are somehow related to the company. We are also involved in Poland Prize. Poland Prize in nutshell is up to 50,000 euro equity grant, 3 months of soft landing phase and 6 months of acceleration. The Rzeszów, Poland, it's south-east Poland. It also gives connection to VCs and venture capital funds, but also gives a range of business support, registration in Poland, trainings, accommodation, dedicated visa path, and what also the minister was mentioning, and we are part of this project via our accelerator. When we look into the future, it looks like we will be heading towards establishing a corporate venture capital fund. We are also working, and soon will be fully operational on our own pre-IPO fund focused on agri-tech. We also work on funds, which will especially targeted for government-supported VCs with the private component. We work currently on the negotiation with one of the asset managers to join forces for this project. We also look forward to the new wave of regulation from the European Union. One is related to equity crowdfunding. We will be also participating in this. We will also have a crowdfunding platform. Our current platform is for the brokers, so brokers can register on that and do their issuing in a crowd-based model. And we also hope to have, or we will soon have our own crowdfunding platform. We also work in the secondary market. It's our primary business is secondary markets, so trading. We should providing trading limited liability companies for their stocks, and also we are working on tokenization of non-financial assets, including art and some physically available commodities. This will be all everything blockchain based, so we want to take some benefits from the new wave EU regulation, which is called Digital Finance Package. We are firm believers that the future of the capital markets belongs to the digital asset kind of democratic access. Well, thank you very much for your attention. I will maybe send over my presentation to the organizers so they can share it with you, and we'll be happy to answer for questions, comments, requests, or
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you, Marek. This is actually a very nice invitation of the head of our stock exchange. If you have any questions, I will allow for one to actually materialize and happen, because Mr. Dietl has covered so many points related to our startup ecosystem that I can honestly say there is not much more to add from my side, so I can spare this additional 10 minutes of my presentation. Maybe at the very end, I saw that Miriam had some questions, so I can comment on that. But right now we have a question to Marek Dietl. Please introduce yourself and ask your question, if I may ask, very slowly, and so that our colleagues from Poland can hear you well.
1, 2, 3. Okay, I think it's good. Hi, my name is Antronik. I am the CEO and co-founder of Illyria Security. We are a cyber deception company. I have 2 questions in this regard. First of all,
I allow one, though.
perfect. If you have a public stock exchange, why do your startups go into VCs more than going into the public market? And on a follow-up on that, at the same point, since the President is here, we also have a public market in Armenia, which has only 6 companies and 10 listings, a lot less than Poland. My question is, how did you boom your public market?
All right. The recipient of your question is very well. Is a very well expert in this field, because what he hasn't said, he was one of the leaders of Polish venture capital sector before he started managing Warsaw Stock Exchange. So Marek, back to you, to the studio.
thank you very much for this question. And first of all, it was a peculiarity of Polish capital market that we still have in our Warsaw Stock Exchange a junior market called Connect. And if you read the World Bank reports, it's one of the few examples in the world when the junior market started really work very well. So actually, before we had flourishing VC market, we had quite flourishing of extremely well functioning junior market or junior public market for startups. But public markets are great, but diversified basically investors by crowdfunding or via IPO or junior market or a mix of all, you do not get the so-called smart money. So basically, a more natural way to grow a company if you need extra capital at the early stages of development. You should go for venture capital fund, because beside the money you get also advice. I can share with you some statistics. Actually, my student, I was supervising his thesis, wrote about returns from he was comparing returns from participation of the IPOs in the new connect or junior market compared to the returns produced by the portfolio companies of venture capital funds. And actually, all the venture capital portfolio companies overperformed the returns from IPOs that connect, so smart money works. But actually, from the perspective of investors, taking account management fees, actually they are on par, almost exactly. So you see that this is exactly our market, our Polish market is currently ideal equilibrium. So if you need passive the markets were naturally. So in this respect, the our emerging markets also get global stage. There's that's introduced by American entrepreneurs. It's like shoemakers and profits if these shoes are well made and for a price that's low. They really not finance. It doesn't have to that much. Our finance business is measured if we can create revenue. This is it. And actually, also there's actually the role of capital markets, public markets in underdeveloped countries in the US. Where actually public markets, main part, are actually providers. This is the way how to venture funds and private funds exit. Because in the capital markets, public markets are actually unlimited access to capital, highly globalized or volumes. We are very well connected to global market flows. So actually, we do not waste that money nowadays on public markets, but just
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. President, again. As I said, we smoothly entered the blue ocean of question and answers, but this is very good because we perfectly understand if the CEO of our Warsaw Stock Exchange could not exactly stay till the end of the meeting. So thank you again for this question and for your answer from Warsaw. Right now, I will pass the microphone to the next speaker highlighted in the agenda to keep at least a little bit of coherence with the plan. And it's going to be our great host, Marie. And then we will go to Robert and we will go to Grzegorz from Robert is here in Erevan. Grzegorz will be connected via bridge after him. And then probably will be a little bit delay, but still we will have time for question and answers, more questions, more answers. And if we are lucky also, let's say 5 minutes of my presentation at the end. The most important part is, of course, to listen to our guests from Erevan and from Warsaw and the startups later. So I find myself least important. This is why I allow myself to put the presentation for eventual time slot later. Marie.
Thank you very much. I will have a small presentation just to highlight where we are in the tech sector. Sorry.
There is no such a conference that can happen without the support of great technicians.
Yes, for sure.
This is actually my presentation, so let's probably skip it. Unless, Marie, you want to comment on Polish startup ecosystem.
With pleasure, but maybe after a few years.
Okay. Yeah, great. I will remember. We have a date.
We'll know so much. Thank you very much. I just will go briefly about highlighting where we are in the tech sector and as well as in the tech startup ecosystem. So just a quick overview of the high-tech sector. High-tech sector is one of the fastest growing sectors in the economy, and it's a priority by the government of Armenia, priority sector. So we have about 1,200 companies, and the sector is growing with a compound annual growth rate of about 25%. So despite the COVID and all these breakdowns, we are still having a growing sector. The turnover of the sector is about 923 million, and again, the turnover is also growing about 25% with a compound annual growth rate. So the export volume is also growing. It's about 7% compared to previous years. And the workforce, the talent that we have is more than 20,000 people who are currently working in the country in the tech sector. And the important indicator here is the labor productivity, which is quite high. It is like $61,000 per employee, which is almost equal to the Western countries' labor productivity. We have a lot of universities and academia, strong academia. So we have about 60 universities, but out of 15 are providing education in the areas of high tech. And about annually 1,800 to 200 students are graduating from these specializations. Overall, the sector is contributing 7.4% to the overall GDP. These are all the data from 2019. And I think not so much has been changed since then. So Armenia is a place for a lot of multinationals that choose this country to establish their R&D centers. And here we can see names like Mentor Graphics, Synopsys, Siemens, I don't know, Oracle, Adobe, which is Workfront also. So a lot of companies are choosing Armenia as a destination for their tech and R&D hub. Because there are different reasons. One of the main reasons, of course, is the talented workforce we have, not just for outsourcing purposes, but because of the capability to solve complex problems and complex issues. So we are not just a place for a cheap labor, let's say, but a place where we actually come up with new solutions and complex solutions to the complex problems. Armenia is also easy to do business. So in doing business, we rank like 47th, and starting a business, I think we are 10th. And in the Global Innovation Index, we are ranking like 68. So a lot of companies also came here, important thing to mention, by acquisition. So a lot of companies like Cisco or Oracle, they acquired local startups and established their representations here. Another important thing I want to mention here that a lot of, some of the companies here mentioned are Armenian-led companies, like Service Titan is one of the unicorns. It is not Armenian, but it was established by two Armenian guys in the United States. And all of these companies, they also come and establish their businesses here in Armenia. In terms of the startups and presenting the world to the Made in Armenia brand, we have, again, great success stories. You have probably heard about the PixArt, SoloLearn, Crisp, and SuperAnnotate. Just to mention, only in 2021, we had about 250 million investments from the capital and VC funds like Sequoia, Menlo Ventures, Learn Capital, True Ventures, SoftBank, etc. So you can see in the amount here, like PixArt, a few months ago, they raised 130 million and became the first Armenian unicorn company in the world. So this is, again, something important to highlight. In terms of the ecosystem, we have VCs, angel investors, incubator and accelerators, and you can see the map. There are the first venture fund, Granatus Venture Fund, the tech venture fund that was established. There is SmartGate VC Amber Capital, which is actually EU-funded private equity fund. There are angel investors, the Business Angel Network of Armenia, and Sona is here if you want to talk with him afterwards. Then we have a lot of ecosystem players that are conducting various incubation and acceleration programs, including ISTC. EIF has a lot of programs contributing to the startup development, and the important thing is also the grant programs that within EIF we have been implementing already, I don't know, since 2014. And these grant programs were a great boost to the development of the ecosystem, because it's like the guy from the stock exchange mentioned, that it's like 50,000 without any royalty, just a matching grant that people can try and pivot and test their startup. So that was a great thing for the development. We also have several representations of international accelerators like Founder Institute and Startup Grind. In terms of the future, I think some slide is missing here. No, this was the one. So this is what we have, but what's our roadmap, where we want to go as a country and why we are interested in in which areas we are interested in cooperating. So what we really want as a country in tech, we really want to make the science fiction reality. So everything we hear in the TVs and we read in the books, we want to make it a reality. We have done it a lot in terms of establishing and pivoting various things here in Armenia within EIF. So a lot of people were skeptical, but we made it reality for Armenia. Now we want to make a reality for the world. And these are areas we are very interested in to cooperate. That's IT and engineering, data science, AI, ML, and deep learning, cybersecurity, creative industries, including gaming, AR, VR, and science overall. So I will go over quickly with... I will also give an overview of what's happening in these sectors also. In terms of IT, you already know, but engineering sector is another great sector that is actually emerging, but it's developing. It's one of the biggest clusters here in Armenia. And we are going to establish so there is an engineering city to be established, which is actually there, but I mean the infrastructure itself, where we will host more than 20 engineering companies that are actually specialized in specific areas. In terms of engineering education, we have Armenian National Engineering Laboratories, which is established in the National Polytechnic University of Armenia. It's a 4-story building, and it involves a lot of research laboratories, education laboratories in various areas. And besides, we are going to establish the research laboratories. And these are the areas of the future we want to disrupt and to provide solutions in this area. This is the automated driving assistance systems, ADAS systems, 5G, RF, microwave, and semiconductor testing. So here we are ready and open to cooperate in any area. And we would be happy to see whatever opportunities there are for cooperation. Second area is the data science. Again, here a lot has been done in this area. In terms of education, we have like 2 main universities, Yerevan State University and Russian Armenian University, that are providing master programs. And with the cooperation of Philip Morris International, we were managed to also establish cooperation with US universities. So there is a master's program jointly conducted with US universities for establishing a data science degrees. There are a lot of companies already represented, like multinational companies who are doing in data science, and also new companies that are emerging who are conducting startups or developing products or providing services in the area of ML and data science. There are a lot of research institutions like National Academy of Science of Republic of Armenia, and there is a specific research lab, Yerevan Neural Networks, that is dedicated to conducting researches in this area. So another interesting area we are open to cooperate and discuss here. In terms of the cybersecurity, we have discussed a lot yesterday, Mr. Shudak. So there are some companies in the country that are providing services in cybersecurity, like penetration testing, integration of infrastructures, etc. We have ArmSec Foundation, and as well as a chapter of OWASP here. And again, there are slowly but starting to emerge startups and products in this area, and we will hear 2 of these products here today. And another project I would like to present is the project I am currently managing within EIF. This is the Sci-Hub Armenia, which is the main hub for the developing the sector overall. And within this project, we are doing various activities for developing the talent and skills in the area of cybersecurity, which is already mentioned is a big demand in the world overall, and conduct various startup and incubation programs. So we are going to announce another round, and that can be an interesting opportunity also to cooperate here. We will also have a demo lab established together with IBM, kind of an infrastructure or a small training place for students. And overall, our main mandate is also to raise the public awareness in the country, because we see that's a big issue because of what a lot of breaches and threats are happening. So again, this is another great area we are interested to cooperate. And creative industries, I have 2 more. So creative industries, it's also very interesting. Armenia has a great potential in creative industries, especially in art, music. And we see that Poland is also very good in this area, especially in gaming industry, we have seen this. So we see that it can be also interesting. In Armenia, we have a game called Shadowmatic, which was a mobile game, but it also got an Apple Design Award for being such a successful project. And some projects that are also acting in that sector, like Nur Games, Arlupa, which is more an AR project, Rockbite Gate, etc. So that would be also interesting for us. And finally, science. We have about 40 research institutions in the areas of mathematics, physics, astrophysics, natural sciences, chemistry, and earth sciences. And another big achievement for Armenia was that one of the biggest companies, Philip Morris International, they have established their R&D hub here in Armenia, and I would like to say that Mariam here was one of the protagonists of that, enabler of that to happen. So, and within these projects, we are also conducting various ecosystem building activities, right? Conducting faculty grants, PhD support programs, and incubation programs in science, which is also an interesting experiment we are trying to do now also in Armenia. So, thank you. I think this was my quick overview for the sector, and we are very happy to cooperate with whatever we can, and happy to see Poland as your next, Armenia as a next destination for Polish companies or investments. Thank you.
Marie, let me make a little compliment. I understand perfectly why you hold this position in your ecosystem. Your understanding of the market and the easiness with which you can describe those complex elements is really outstanding. And thank you very much. I already want to ask you vis-a-vis many witnesses, whether you can send me this slide so I can share it to Polish investors and Polish colleagues. Even those slides speak for themselves. And I am happy that you covered also the topic of cooperation between young engineers, young talents, and international corporations. This is something that we were working a lot on in Poland. I hope we will have time to cover that. Yet I made a small gentleman agreement with Robert just a second ago that because of the fact that we are physically here in Yerevan and until our flight will take off, we are here in the city and we can talk with you. We decided that we let Mr. Grzegorz Sprawka from DZP, this is the biggest Polish law firm based in Warsaw, to take the microphone right now and share with us. I'm Polish, but I also like to listen to this topic, tax incentives, the main fundamental legal frameworks for startups, how they can operate, how they can build up their companies, their endeavors without violating either Polish or European regulations, European legislation. So Grzegorz, let me check if you are with us right now. Can you hear us? In a second, probably his voice will appear. Grzegorz is a senior tax manager in Domański, Zakrzewski, Palinka. These are names of three founders of this legal firm. We often encourage our lawyers to speak at startup conferences because few years ago it was a totally irrelevant topic, for example, for me. Right now, when I see many startups actually growing, not bankrupting, but growing and getting into more mature stages, I see that the mistakes and sins made in earlier stages really reflect with some problems when the big investor, name it from US or Canada or Israel, is coming, but inside of the entity there are problems. Okay, Grzegorz is with us. So Grzegorz, if you can give any sign confirming that you can hear us.
Yes, I can hear you, and I hope that you can hear me.
We can hear you loud and clear, and thank you that you are with us. I only can hope that the weather in Warsaw is as beautiful as in Yerevan. Probably not. Yet I would like to check if with the technical team, is it possible that we will see Grzegorz Sprawka slides that he wants to share with us? Yes. Yes, lovely, lovely, it's working. The audience here in Yerevan at the university can see your slides, Grzegorz, so full screen is there. 10 minutes or even 15 minutes belong to you, and then please stay with us during the question and answer session, all right?
Yes, of course.
All right. Grzegorz, going to the conclusion, maybe, if I may ask you, because late we will have more space for questions. Grzegorz, thank you very much. One question that I have immediately is because of the fact that some of our colleagues from the audience were taking lots of pictures from your slides. Is it possible that we share exactly? you have done it already, so you know how to reach Grzegorz. Also, the minister was listening carefully to your presentation. I am very happy that no matter the fact that this substance is very difficult and it's quite better to digest it during too long our lecture, we are happy, Grzegorz, that you managed to provide us with this framework of paying taxes and complying with regulations in terms of taxes, benefiting from incentives in Poland. I'm happy that you made such a nice example of what Polish government and Polish parliament has prepared for entrepreneurs who are based on deep tech solution. And so thank you very much, Grzegorz, again. And right now we will go to our panelist here in Erevan, Robert Siudak, who was kind enough to pass Grzegorz first, but we definitely want, as your audience, as the club of today's gathering, we very much want to know about the situation of cybersec in Poland. And no need to introduce Robert. He's the boss of cybersecurity cluster in Poland. Very important organizations, not only for startups, but also for corporations, which you will know in a second. Robert.
Thank you very much. Maybe I will stand up as Mari did. I decided in the end not to speak only about Polish examples. I decided to speak about cybersecurity problems and challenges and chances that we have under entrepreneurs. I hope now here on the audience we do have cyber folks as well as on the other side of the cameras. And I'm pretty sure most of the problems and challenges, but also chances that I will be now covering are somehow familiar to you. But I will try today to show it in a little bit different way. So if I will have to start with one notion, one idea, one thing that I hope that you will come back after this session to your family, to your work, to your institution, and you will share, is that cybersecurity is not only a challenge. Because most of the cyber folks, if you speak with them, chief security officers, pen testers, they perceive cybersecurity as a challenge. We need to patch this. We need to create this firewall. We need to integrate this. And it's true. But for us as policymakers, for us as entrepreneurs, it's just only the first step. We should also take the second step. And the second step is that to perceive cybersecurity also as a chance, as an opportunity. So if we need to face this challenge, we need to do this and that to create secure environment in digital, the question is how to do it also to support our entrepreneurial system, also to support our even public sector, because we need to do it anyway. We will do it anyway somehow. The question is how to do the second step at the same time. So how to not stop in the middle. And that's what we are doing as a CyberMade in Poland, which is a Polish cybersecurity cluster. We're trying to show that cybersecurity is opportunity for entrepreneurs, for startups, but also for people who are crafting this kind of projects on a policy level, to perceive the sector as something which is happening, and it might be also supported from the public funds, but not only funds, but in a way by public regulations. So that's the first notion that I want you to remember. But I mentioned a lot about problems. If I will have to ask you about problems in cybersecurity, I hope we will have a time for that. But from our perspective, it's similar in Yerevan, it's similar in Warsaw, it's similar in Brussels, in New York. The two problems that I think are the basic one is that we already mentioned one at the beginning of this session. So not enough people who have skills. This, the first one, we mentioned about this 3 million of shortage of experts, but it's also about making the experts that are on the market accommodated well. So not losing the potential that we already have in a city, in a country, in a region. So that's the first problem. And the second problem will be not enough projects. What I mean by projects, I not mean technology only. I mean the whole project as entrepreneurial projects in cybersecurity. So although we will educate dozens of experts, it doesn't mean at the same time that we're going to end up with a second Israel or we're going to end up with a second Estonia. So the second problem, which is and should be perceived separately, is that we need to also create an ecosystem, both regulatory as well as incentives and other parts, other stakeholders including, to also create this, I would say, flow of projects. And in cybersecurity, it is pretty specific. In IT, if you will ask people, maybe not people from IT, but if you will ask your grandma, he would say, okay, startups are created by students, by, 19, 18 years old Facebook founders and so on. But this is not the case in cybersecurity. We know this. If you have cybersecurity companies, most of the people who are creating these ideas have been on the market for 15, 20 years. They already have to know a lot of not only technology, but also a lot of how the market, how the industry works. Where are the pain points in cybersecurity? Because this is not straightforward. And that's the second problem. So we do have two problems. The first one is the shortage of people, and the second, always shortage of projects. We need more projects, good, bad, but we need more projects. And I think that's the bottom line that we agreed with Mari yesterday. We need more projects in Poland, in Armenia, in other countries. And to answer to those problems, it's not so straightforward. If I will have to say from my perspective, what we need to do or what has to happen in order to answer those two problems, apart from all of this discussion about creating an ecosystem, we will discuss this in a second. Two more specific answers will be the first one, answer or the process, the change that needs to happen in cyber industry, in cyber folks that you have in Armenia, that we have in Poland. So in fact, we need to stop. We need to stop, how to frame it well. We need to stop to perceive this cybersecurity as a separate part of the business. If you think about enterprise, if you think about most of the companies, IT or cybersecurity, these are these guys on the second floor. So if you have cybersecurity issue, you go there. And this is not the case anymore. If you want to have a thriving digital economy, as most of the cases of Israel, US is showing, cybersecurity needs to become intrinsic part of the business process. So the boards must to perceive the cybersecurity, including cybersecurity investments from their perspective, so spending money on cybersecurity as an intrinsic part of their role. And you can do it in different ways. Of course, you can do it by regulations. So let's say that the CEO will be, and it is partly part of the European regulations, for example, that the board is now directly responsible for the security of the information and systems of the company. But you can do it in also, of course, educational way, and so on and so forth. The bottom line and the most important issue is that we need to understand that, cybersecurity is a part of the business. And if I will ask you, can you imagine CEO who do not understand the law in a country? It's impossible. If you run a company, you need to understand how law works, like how we try to sign a contract. But at the same time, we still are not in a point when I will ask you, can you imagine CEO which is not understanding cybersecurity of his company? And to be honest, that's in many cases reality. And we need to understand that now. But it's also the issue not only for cyber folks. I mentioned them. I hope some of them are on the line. It's also for us as entrepreneurs in cybersecurity. So we need to stop selling our skills and knowledge and start selling products. I'm finalizing. That's the first step. But also we need to stop selling technology and start selling products. And I think especially in so tech-oriented communities, as a lot of communities in Central and Eastern Europe, including Poland, Ukraine, I believe Armenia as well, we need to understand that on global market, we are not selling technology anymore, especially in cybersecurity. In many cases, if you will look about specific parts of cybersecurity market, technology behind those products are pretty similar. The differences are not so much. But if you think about building a product, this is the lessons that we have to learn. This is the lessons that we as entrepreneurs in cybersecurity need to work now on, because in some markets, you name it, UK, Israel, Estonia, US, they already did it. They are way behind when it comes to creating product based on technology rather than selling the technology. And I think that's the two lessons that I will now stop probably. And last but not least, just 3 points, because in fact they asked
3 points.
3 points. They asked me about areas of cooperation to answer those two problems. In fact, if I will have to say, I figure out 3E. So the first one will be education, and we can cooperate on education of specialists, of course. The second one will be emerging projects. We heard about even first step, like the project to create co-founded projects from Poland and Armenia. And the last one is about exports. So building a bridge from Armenia to European market through Poland, and building a bridge from Poland to Eurasiatic market through Armenia. Thank you very much.
And we thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think after 1.5 hours I already can call you friends. We had today Marek Dietl from Warsaw Stock Exchange, the head of this institution. We have Mari, we have Robert, we have Grzegorz Sprawka from DZP, and of course our two distinguished guests at the beginning, 3 with the counting Polish ambassador in. Right now, let me exploit this 7 minutes that we have before our startups will appear on the stage. And we agreed that maybe it will be elegant to let, we will make a sequence. Polish startup, Armenian startup, Polish startup, Armenian startup. And then we have 10 of them, quite a big batch. But first, let's through some questions and let's try our great speakers to face them and give very, very brief answers. Question should also be brief, if I may ask. Okay.
Hi everyone, I'm Roman Zakian. Thank you for all your presentations. Here you talked about the opportunities which startups and companies can get in Poland, but can you please share the resources or sources how we can learn more? And this is the first question. And my second question, is there any established connection between Armenian startup ecosystem subjects and Poland ecosystem subjects, and which we can use to make easier our penetration into Poland market?
Right, thank you very much. First, I will ask our colleagues, our panelists from Warsaw who are connected online, if they like to answer. But the condition to answer this question is to be absolutely super brief. I see Grzegorz, I see Marek, and I already see startups.
Because the question was about whether there's a place where there's more information about the opportunities earlier. So let me just put it this way, I will send a couple of links to Maciej, and then we distribute. We go through very different from basic overview of those benefits. Talked about earlier.
All right, so let us keep this question with the hope that the next person who will ask his question, it's a gentleman, will give us a possibility to merge in one answer 2 topics. Let us see.
Testing. Good, better. So, as you said, most of the cybersecurity companies that are built to this day are not your typical Facebook, who are 22-year-olds. They are people 30 plus. They've been in the industry since they've been 15, obviously. But my main question is the following. So you have these people who know the pain points of the industry, and they understand the market, but they don't change. For them, it's like computers are built in a bad way, and now we have to find a solution around them. And then you have the 22-year-olds who are computers are built in a bad way, but we have to change everything. And then, of course, then you have the policymakers who know literally nothing about technology. So my question is, at least from your experience in Poland, how do you combine these 3 sectors? The people who want to change stuff, the people who don't want to change stuff but want to make money, and the people who don't know what they're doing, but they have to write policies all together.
Wow, what a complex question. Would you take it?
That's a really good question, by the way. My short answer is you need so-called event, I should call it. So you need kind of a topic discussion problem that they have to talk together and face it. I will give you an example. So at one point, we've been forced by EU directive to pass our cybersecurity law. And interestingly, that was the point, because there was like deadline to pass the national law for every member state in EU. That was at this point, decision makers, so the ministries, people in the ministry, have been kind of forced to really closely work with CERT teams, so computer emergency response teams, to sit down with them in one room and few times, as well with cybersecurity industries, so people who are representing companies, and discuss, okay guys, you know how the system should work, and let's just propose something, and we're gonna see whether it's viable from our political perspective. So I think this kind of it's kind of a push. It's kind of an issue that they need to face. If you think about, I've heard yesterday that now you will be building in Armenia this interoperability framework for government and other sectors, like banks and others in IT. I think that might be this event, so-called. So this might be the case where this, who do not know yet, will be forced to be in kind of working cooperation with both cybersecurity industry, but also the IT industry as a background.
Okay, thank you. Agnieszka Labens, Labens Consulting. I'm here also in the second role, like a CEO of Mao Foundation. But I have a question, because I have a question to Robert. You spoke about the big needs of cybersecurity, and like we saw last week, also Mark Zuckerberg needs this cybersecurity because of collapse of Facebook last week. And here was also the question about resources, and I would like to push this question about the resources, because how Armenia could, from which side we can support Armenia in the way of cybersecurity, yes, which resources they can use, including also the international finance for cybersecurity. It's a very practical question, I know, but not only it's not only a question about the human resources, but only in simple money.
Yeah, so it depends whose cybersecurity we're speaking about. If we speak about public sector, that's a kind of straightforward answer. So of course there are like both World Bank as well as ITU programs for supporting this kind. It's not only money. Money might be part of that, but it's also a separate programs for knowledge sharing and expertise sharing when they kind of when there are specific programs which are supporting companies in something which we call cybersecurity capacity building. There are also NGO cybersecurity capacity building forums, like global one. There's Global Forum on Cyber Expertise and others, which they do run projects specific for countries who are looking for support in building the cybersecurity capacity in all around the world, in fact. So I can enlist, and can even connect later, enlist at least like 5 or 10 this kind of organizations who do run this, both international as well as, you might call it non-governmental, because they are kind of organized as their own entity but supported by countries and companies. So these are the sources of both the knowledge, kind of practices, and money sometimes as well. So I think, yeah, in this terms, when it comes to more our bilateral relations, I mentioned it yesterday in a lot of my discussions, you as Armenia might learn on a lot of mistakes that we did in Poland. Not only we did these mistakes, other countries as well, but yeah, we know what we, at least I believe we know already what we did wrong in this process of building interoperability or building national cybersecurity system. Yeah, if we can share it, maybe not to repeat them, but maybe do different errors in this process. Thank you.
So could I understand well that you are on the way of the building platform of support Armenia in the to support them in the way of learning how to learn cybersecurity and to put them up in this way?
You mean so do we? By we, you mean Polish government or?
No, you.
No, I mean, yeah, so from our perspective as the representatives of the cybersecurity industry, we are more than happy to kind of connect with specifically industry in Armenia and to see what kind of projects we can do together, what kind of new projects we can build together specifically. Because I mentioned the second problem, not enough projects. And the second problem, of course, it's international, and also the answer might be international, so kind of co-funded projects. And in this, if you create a project which is rooted in two markets at the same time, it's easy then to sell on both markets. And in this case, it's a kind of advantage. Thank you.
Thank you.
So my question is for Robert. First of all, thank you for your speech. I can feel all the pain points that you mentioned regarding the cybersecurity awareness. And as a specialist in this area, in working in a cybersecurity tech company, I wanted to understand how your organization and what are you doing in Poland to raise cybersecurity awareness among your peers or among people to be more aware of the issues in the industry?
Sure. Thank you very much for this question. I can start from our own activities as a cluster, but of course, if you ask what we are doing generally in Poland, there's like a number of other institutions which are active as well, and I should say this straightforward. But as a cluster, what we do, we run a lot of something which we call development projects. So there's like roughly 50 companies in our cluster. Of course, not every topic, not every project is interesting for everyone. So what we do, we say at the beginning of the year, guys, there is idea for, there's like 25 ideas, let's say, for common actions, activities that we can do together as industry. Please choose few of them, and we will try to support all of them. And you can, of course, companies might also propose their own projects. And most of these projects, if you ask me, are focused on this educational effort. But it's not only general education. It's important to understand that cybersecurity nowadays, it's also about educating specific part of the market. So you name it, but let's start with the most important one, something which we call critical infrastructure or critical service providers. They have specific needs for cybersecurity. Even regulatory, they are under specific regime they need to face. So one of our development project is focused on this. We did like kind of 7 webinars, like free of charge educational webinars for people, for IT departments working in critical infrastructure providers, in companies. And that was a big campaign that we ran for like 6 months or something, because that was this webinars plus all of the materials around this. So this was an educational effort focused on specific part of the market because they have specific problems. And of course, from our industrial perspective, it's kind of to have a market, you need to educate the market. This will sound a little bit commercial from my side, but I still believe the way there are saturated markets which are well educated, and there are not so saturated market which needs education. And I think this allows you better to understand how cybersecurity companies perceive global market. So if they are entering not saturated market, they are entering with education first, because if the customer is not understanding the problem, they will not sell anything. They have to first educate the market. Unfortunately, sometimes you educate the customer for someone else who will come after you, but like in 5 years or 1 year. But this is the game in cybersecurity. That's what you do. That's what you do as an industry there. So yeah, so we run a number of this kind of projects, but also like general projects. So we do run annual research on status of cybersecurity in Polish companies. So we do kind of research on what normal companies, not IT companies, what is the level of cybersecurity, what kind of products, services, how they understand their own problems, and so on and so forth. And then we publish it as a public report, and we do a kind of big campaign around it. So that's a few examples. Thank you very much one more time for this question.
And thank you guys, especially for those questions that you were able to ask during our question and answer section. If there will be any other questions, or you want to have a tete-a-tete discussion with our friends, or you want to ask something about the startup ecosystem in Poland, me directly, of course, we are here also after the next session that I'm going to introduce right now, which is the first time ever We have 5 great startups from Poland in Armenia and 5 Armenian great startups on the other side of the wire going to Poland to pitch themselves. As we said, let's start by the rule of actually random choice, but let's start with Polish startup first. And let me take a look at the screen behind me. I see Paweł Panasiuk. Paweł Panasiuk from Humatico. Paweł, can we check if yes, I can see you, though I cannot say if I can hear you right now. Let's. Hi, Paweł. So Humatico, first project from Poland. You have 4 or 5 minutes for your free presentation, and then we will check how many questions do we have from our audience here in Erevan and in Warsaw or other geographies, because the event is open for everybody. So if somebody's calling us from Vanuatu on Pacific Ocean, he or she also can ask you a question. Paweł, go ahead. Yes, we can. You might heard that there was an applause from Erevan side. I'm ready to pass the microphone to those of our colleagues who want to ask question, or if you want to ask question online, then our technical team needs to allow you to share your screen and ask a very first question. My question would be first, though. I will use the authority of a moderator. So how do you exploit ICT solutions in your process? Is it only a chemical startup, or there is also some data behind it? Thank you, Pavel. I'm looking. Okay, we have a first question. Let me jump between.
Thank you very much. I suppose you have competitors. Can you tell a little bit about them and how are you different? And the second question, can you go back please to the page value proposition, the first one, where you say that you are increasing yield by 30%? Yeah. No. No, not this one. Yeah, this one. Yeah, you say you are increasing yield by 30%. But like, for example, we create the previous two, aren't this already part of that you are increasing by 30%? Or am I misunderstanding something? Like, isn't the 30% yield result of those two values before?
Didn't quite understand the question. Basically, if we have two fields, why one of them uses our formula and approach in general, and that one does not see increase in general, not 50%. So very often, even of course depends on the approach, on average, we're able to raise these yields by 30%. And that is given by the fact that if you use organic fertilizer, especially this organic fertilizer, if you're able to see on the camera, there is both ideal and information. So, and this is the liquid form. The liquid form allows is the fact that we can introduce this type of solution that depends not only on pre-growing stage. So when there is in the spring, for example, there is rain coming, that is fertilizer, granulated fertilizer on the field, and then with water, with the rainwater, it gets into the root system of the plants, and through that it gets the plants and gives digestion to the plants. No, so we can introduce this fertilizer even when the plants are grown already. You can see that before they grow. So through leaves, by sprinkling of the this type of solution. How they are different? Well, this is the next question, as a matter of fact, because what we are able to provide to farmers, not only are we having all this know-how,
Pavel? Pavel? Thank you, Pavel. You can show us the last slide so that people who want to ask more questions to you or just interact with you can see the email. Okay, it's humatico.co. Yes, if somebody needs, I can also provide Pavel's email. Right now, though, thank you, Pavel, very much. I will invite to the stage a person who is physically present and actually already spoke up for 2 times at least. It's Antranik Vartanian and Illuria Security. The microphone is yours. And
Thank you. Oh, 1, 2. Can you hear me? All good? Okay, I hope. Perfect. Okay. I don't have a slideshow. I'm too lazy for that. Greetings, everyone. I am Antranik Vartanian, CEO and one of the co-founders of Illuria Security. We are a cyber deception company. That being said, we make traps for hackers. That's the short version. So to come to the background of the whole story, as we all know, prevention alone in cybersecurity is not enough. One of the main reasons why we know that is true is that for the last 20 years, everyone has been making new products here and there, and yet the number of breaches that we see are still growing by numbers. So we understood that prevention alone is not enough. One of the main problems with these preventing technologies is that you have a lack of visibility. You always have the problem of insider and third-party threats that are happening, and there is a lot of noisy alerts happening all the time because you are running a bunch of sensors here and there. And most importantly, none of these technologies are built in a way to defend you against sophisticated attacks, or if you are being targeted specifically and not by any kind of a mass attack. Which gives us to which brings us to the 2021 of the situation of cybersecurity. That is, people are aware that they have been hacked after the attacker has been inside their system for up to 7 months, and it takes them at least 3 months to start recovering. In case of our technology, we were able to build a deception technology based on warfare. Which has a very simple, easy deployment. It works on cloud and on-premise. It's completely agentless. It works as a tracing technology. So you can have some kind of proactive early warning, accurate alerts without any false positive or false negatives. It can give you an identification if there is any kind of sophisticated attack is happening, and most importantly, it can give you deep threat intelligence. That being said, you can understand why the attacker was there, how the attacker was there, and most importantly, what did they do after that they got in. This helps you to reduce your time to detection, have more time to prepare for your incident response, reduce the risk of your isolated critical infrastructure, and improve the value of the technologies that you already use. We have been used multiple times over these years. We've been around for a couple of years now. One of the success stories that we had was during the cyber warfare when Armenia was having an actual warfare last year. And we also did a major case study with a startup that has 8 million active users, where 4 of our 5 decoys, traps, were triggered, and the attackers were not able to get in. As a matter of fact, they were trying to find a way to bypass those defensive mechanisms, and they spent, well, I can see 240 hours in only one decoy. So they spent 240 hours attacking one system which was acting as a decoy. Over the years, we also worked with multiple NGOs that work for capturing malware for the whole community. And that being said, I hope that this was kind of informative. If you have any questions about this kind of technologies, let me know.
Thank you very much. Antranik Vartanian in front of you, ladies and gentlemen. Questions now. And both questions can, okay, I see Robert is asking first question. There we go.
Yeah, just a quick question, because you mentioned, thank you for the really nice presentation. You mentioned air-gapped system. So if you think about your customers now and where the air-gap are, is it mainly in kind of separated air-gapped systems, or it's in like a core normal IT systems connected normally to the internet. So where are you kind of selling the product itself?
That's a good question. So the product itself works on both environments regardless. So it's made to work here and there. Over the course of the years, we have seen two major shifts happening. The first one was back in the day, everyone had a public IP, technologically speaking, and everything was accessible. It took the IT department around 10 years from the 90s till the early 2000s to understand that, okay, a couple of those systems, they should not be on the internet, that they should be air-gapped, they should be in a separate environment. But the second problem, the same thing came again when the cloud started booming. Now everyone was running on the cloud and they forgot the fact that some things should not be running on the internet, and you see, some developers running somewhere and they have some kind of a private information system that is running on the public internet itself. And now those people have learned that, okay, we can use cloud technologies to move our critical infrastructure to the second level of our network that is not that close to the internet. Technologically, however, our solution can work both the on-premise in front of the internet, on-premise behind the internet, and the same thing on the cloud. We, however, do not recommend people to run any kind of a decoy system on the public internet because, well, bots are a thing and Chinese like to bug everyone. However, one of the biggest advantages of our technology is that we give you a complete platform, not just a product, which helps you to deploy lures on your public interface so you can detect the attacks faster without deploying the decoys on the public interface. Thank you.
Thank you very much. One question that is yes or no question, somebody? All right.
Good, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to see the next startup from Poland right now, and it's going to be, so the gentleman is Jarosław Eitel-Haller, and the project's name is CryptoMatch. Jarosław, can you hear us, sir?
Thanks very much for invitation for that we can talk something more about our company. That I've got short presentation for you regarding our company and our solution.
If you can hold though for a second, Jarosław, I need to ask our colleagues from the technical team to give us the full screen of your presentation. For now, we see the banner and it will take 7 seconds to oh, actually, I undermined him. It's already there. So go ahead, Jarosław.
Okay, thanks very much. My name is Jarosław Eitel-Haller. I'm business development manager in CryptoMatch. CryptoMatch is a Polish startup which produce network that typically cyber security for all sectors. You can use this when you trade your network can be problem with external hackers or something like this. That makes it a total solution. The competitive advantage, many tools, many security across security clouds, for instance, security clouds, they can use our platform to well, passing incident mode, in that case, it's many possibility of connecting these in different networks. The connection is very easily you can use to use business model. It's of course that it's an OpEx model and CapEx model that you can rent is solution other product will design this product only main as OpEx model.
Yaroslav, thank you very much. Thank you for an excellent time discipline. You've been speaking exactly the time that we promised you to secure. Right now, the audience, both the online audience and the on-site audience. Any questions? Okay, the gentleman over there.
Okay, just would like to know, is the system quite fast? Does it work in real time? And or it needs some delay for any response? Thank you.
Yeah, it's a real time work.
Okay, thank you, Yaroslav. I hope this question, actually it has to be enough, and unless you have some follow-ups, you can of course speak to Yaroslav directly, but the time right now belongs to Mr. Sergei Astarian from Lucky Carrot.
Hello, my name is Sergey. I represent Lucky Carrot, which is an employee engagement and peer-to-peer recognition platform. And we help companies to retain their talent and keep the culture in this difficult situation when people working remotely, they are disconnected and isolated. How we do that? We provide 4 modules. First one is a peer-to-peer recognition when employees can send the virtual carrots to each other and later exchange those into experiences and gift cards. The second module is engagement surveys, so the employees can give their feedback to the companies. Third one, goal management, so companies can set individual or team goals and challenges to be accomplished. And based on the collected data of these 3 modules, we are able to provide insights on employee disengagement causes, their interactions and the problems, and sometimes even give predictions on possible turnover. We founded our startup in 2019, and currently we help more than 50 companies to retain their talent from Armenia, from USA. Actually, that's it, the short intro. If you have a question, welcome.
I've lost all my microphones. I used to have 4, right now only 1 remained. Okay, great. Questions, guys? Anybody wants to ask a question? And the same to colleagues online. Miriam is on. No, nobody's asking. All right, so thank you very much. In this case, we will invite to the stage. Okay. Yes. I see this project. It's SciComm Sec and Michał Suchocki from Poland. I wanted rather to read from the script because being a startupper many years ago, I know how harmful and disappointing it is when the moderator just confuses the name of the startup that you made so many efforts for. All right, Michał, the floor is yours. Let me check if we can see you and hear you. My colleague said we should really hear you very well, though I can see. Okay, right now. Go ahead, Michał. Share your screen, share your slides, say hello to Erevan, the beautiful city of Erevan, and go ahead. We do see your slides, though I highly encourage you to speak slower, a little bit slower, because there is certain echo here. You have still 30 seconds, so you can add some elements. We see a very psychedelic screen, a fractal, true. All right, Michał, can you hear us? Can Michał Suchocki hear us well? Either we have lost connection or you are inviting with the silence, inviting our colleagues to throw some question just in front of you right now. Any questions, guys? No. All right. In that case, we will go with the Armenian startup, which is going to be represented by Gayan Hakobian, and the startup name is ThermalScan. Where are you? Oh, you, okay. You deserve to have at least one microphone.
Yours, yeah? Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm presenting ThermalScan, which is solving the problem of late detection of the breast cancer. Basically, this is a platform which is solving the need of predictive medicine, combining with artificial intelligence and ThermalScan camera, and resolving in the AI risk assessment of early detection of the breast cancer. So what we had in the market, out of 8, women are getting diagnosed with the cancer. Every 2 minutes, women are getting diagnosed with the cancer. Every 13 minutes, women die from the cancer. And there is 15% mortality rate, and out of that, 70% are because of the late detection of the cancer. So we are trying to solve that. So what are the standards in the market? There is a mammography, ultrasound, breast biopsy, and clinical experimentation. Yeah, but also there is this is creating very huge gap of accessibility, affordability. It is not comfortable. It is creating a big risk of radiation. Also, what is most important, it is not for women below 45. Here comes our pre-screening tool, which is combination of the smartphone and thermal camera. It is really portable, very portable. It is not specialized, and it detects early abnormalities. So coming to the solution, we created a smartphone Android application, web clinic dashboard, combining with the thermal camera. This set is helping doctors currently to take pictures and then analyzing the dashboard and understand whether the patient has risk or is healthy. How we came to this? So we figure out that the uncontrolled cells growing really fast, they are creating a heat and a warm surface, yeah? So thermal camera is detecting those abnormalities. Therefore, we are doing AI analysis and coming with 2 outcomes, either patient is healthy or with the cancer, and we advise them to see a doctor. So this is minimum human, there is minimum human intervention. So in the future, only 1 person or 2 can conduct this session. Then it is not dependent of subjective opinion, and of course it is faster than manual ones. What is our market? It is B2B, it is for healthcare providers, medical wellness centers, mini clinics, home remote doctors, and primary care. Currently, our first partner is Erbuni Medical Center, and head of the breast unit, Nersas Berberian, helps us to work with more than 2,000 patients, and with the help of the labeling and results from mammography, biopsy, and etc., we are coming out with the solutions. We are partnering as well. I mean, we are the part of the Indian-Swedish Healthcare Innovation Acceleration Program, and they provide us with a lot of insights, guidance, and help us to strategize our go-to-market approach. So eventually we see that the market is $4.6 billion market. And every year, 2.2 billion women from 25 to 65 are getting diagnosed with the cancer. Why now? So why we started now? Because during the pandemic, we saw that there was no possibility to visit hospitals to get diagnosed or to check with the mammograms. And also during the pandemic, a lot of Asian and Chinese companies developed really good thermal cameras, which helped us to go ahead and create this solution. So our business model is software as a solution. We are going to sell this per AI analyze with $3, which is three times cheaper than the mammography or other manual ones. And then our market is going to be Armenia, India, Brazil, and Singapore. And we hope to go live on 2022. And eventually we see the trend that thermal cameras are not really detached from the phone, but in the future they will be inside the phone. So we know our competitors. We divide it into 4 parts. It is AI and manual and help of the specialist or without the help of the specialist. So in this sphere, we see that only Neuromai is kind of competing with us, but still they need equipment, they need specialists to work with their equipment, etc. So what we need from our future partners, that is supporting oncology clinic and specialists for our data collection process, legal help, go-to-market support, and of course we always happy and want to see our future customers. This is our amazing team. The business and product team are from Sweden. We have product design manager from Poland, and we have data scientists and developers from Armenia. Also, we have amazing advisors helping us in the process. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And there is a fast question to you, Gayan.
When you say breast cancer has 50% mortality, what do you mean? Because breast cancer survival rate for 5 years is 84% more. I mean, what do you mean by saying? And also one more thing, you say that 2.5 billion women are being diagnosed.
2.2 billion.
Diagnosed or being screened for cancer?
Screened for cancer.
You said diagnosed.
Sorry for that.
And also, what do you mean by 50%?
Yeah.
Can you just elaborate?
So, based on the research done by UN Breast Cancer Detection Service, there was a report last year that each year there is a 15% mortality rate between 15.
Okay, we are.
Types that has highest survival rates. Why don't you focus on other cancer types that have really low survival rates?
You mean not breast cancer rather than others?
What?
Yeah.
Because it's about temperature and it's easy to
Yeah,
diagnose
cells
breast.
are, as I said, it's growing really fast and giving a heat, so thermal camera can detect that heat, and taking pictures of that, like patients, we can detect whatever is happening in the chest of the patient.
It's strange that breast cancer gets 8 times more research funding than other types of cancers that have I don't know, 5 times more.
So this question is not to me, I guess. So
yes, of course. And no matter how much I like the discussion, and I think it's super valid, I actually promised to join it afterwards, because I know Braster. I can link you with these guys from Poland who are your direct competitors. And
I know them.
though I have one question, if you can fit in 15 seconds your answer. If you diagnose a cancer of a breast, do you need certain certification of European Drug Agency or FDA, American FDA? Because it sounds like a serious promise. You promise me that I will check my breast.
So we are in the data collection and research phase, as I said, and with the regulations and everything connected with the Europe regulation, even for the India, we still need help. We're still working on it. Even acceleration programs are helping with that. If any other respond, maybe my team colleagues will help me. Or It's fine, yeah. So that's
It's fine.
it.
Okay, thank you very much again.
Thank you.
Gayan, in front of you right now by the internet connection, Vadim Titov from the Scan and Buy company. Yeah. Are you with us, Vadim? Can you hear us? Okay. All right. Hello, old friend. Right now, it's your time to demonstrate your solution. We see you very well. We see your presentation. Everything is great. Happy to see you. Go on. We are clear to start. We are clear to start, Vadim. You can start. Thank you very much, Vadim, for your comprehensive presentation. And there is one question from the audience. There you go.
Yeah, thank you. Can you go back to competition slide? Isn't there any feature like that that your competitors are actually better than you? Yeah, even if they are all trying to copy that one particular competitor, isn't there anything that they are doing better than you do?
Maybe the question again, okay? Slowly the question again.
Yeah, my question was, here you show only your advantages and not any disadvantages. So this is not kind of like, this doesn't give any objective view of what the competition looks like. I'm just asking, is there anything, just any feature that your competitors, any of them, is better than you? I don't see this in on your slides.
I got it. Did you, Vadim? What are the stronger hands of your competitors, where they are better than Scan and Buy? One example. One example where, for example, Scan and Go is better. Technologically speaking, because we know that Amazon is better because it has billion customers, but technologically speaking, functionality-wise. Vadim. So, okay. All right, Vadim, thank you very much then. The question was maybe rather like what you dream to achieve where your competitors are better today. Maybe there is something, but okay, we got it. We will put you in touch with your Armenian new interlocutors, counter partners. Thank you again. And we are coming back to Erevan, where Vladimir Koyetsian will present his company. Vladimir already has international footprint, but you will know by yourself in a second.
Yes, of course. Hey. Hello. Hello, my name is Vlad. I'm CTO in Wirestock. CTO. I'm not doing presentations at all. So I even don't have a presentation. It's just our logo. So what we are doing, Wirestock is an AI-powered tool for content creators to distribute their content in marketplaces and earn by it. When I'm saying creators, for now it's photographer, videographers, illustrators, vector makers, and so on. And we are online about 3 years, 2.5 years. And for now, from all over the world, there are 30,000 creators now using Wirestock and earning really enough money in some cases to live on this money. So, but what's about this market? It's about the change of advertising market in the world at all. Because you know, now big brands and also all brands in their advertising, they don't want to use perfect photos, for example, where every model is chosen very beautiful with white teeth and with perfect clothes. They want some kind of realistic photos. let's say it user-generated content. And in the world, there is a lot of user-generated content, especially in this era of Instagram and Snapchat and so on, when there are a lot of young people who are creating amazing content with their cell phones and so on. But from other side, there are brands who need this content, but there is no platforms to organize this cooperation because selling content, it's a licensing process, it's an agreement, it's legal questions. There are a lot of legal questions. So Wirestock is a platform when we are solving, first of all, the problem when they are finding each other. We are making all these SEO tools, SEO activities like keywording, descriptioning, getting legal documents for this content. And from the other side, our robots are spreading this content in all major marketplaces like, Shutterstock, Adobe Stock, Allow.me, and so on. And now we are trying to scale this model. And in fact, our vision is to become a one place, one store for all the visual content. Yeah, all the visual content which generated not by the professional studios, but by the indie, by the users generated and from real life. So, and about the potential cooperation, now we finally decided to start hiring internationally because Armenian hiring market not enough at all. Now we are thinking to hiring internationally the world-class specialists. And also we are doing an investment round just now. That's why I'm here. Our CEO is doing our round in San Francisco. So I think it's areas where it may be a cooperation with our Poland partners. And yes, one more thing, only it's just I've recognized today our most influencer user of Wirestock is from Poland. His name is Mirko Waka. And he's selling amazing. He's doing amazing photos and selling and earning, I think, better than anybody there.
I was checking competitors, and indeed, there are some services.
But I'm going to ask you, like, how do you earn money on this? Maybe I just missed or you didn't tell. And one more thing, you mentioned about hiring. Are you hiring engineers or are you hiring sales specialists, or I didn't get this part?
Yeah. So our business model based on, we say it, we are earning only if you are earning. So we are getting a percent from sales of our creators. The model is they are uploading to our platform. We are preparing this, uploading to agencies, getting back their earnings, taking our commission, and giving the rest to creators. But there is a little but important thing. As our account is aggregative, big account with several millions of content pieces, our royalty fees in these agencies are much higher than for regular photographer, for example. So when you earning through Wirestock from, for example, Shutterstock, even after we are getting our commission, your part is more than you would earn if you would sell directly in Shutterstock. Okay? And about the hiring, yes, we are hiring and engineers and designers, and we need people with experience in product companies and preferable in successfully exited product companies.
Vladimir, thank you very much. You can definitely go on with this question after the seminar, after the session. Last project from Poland and then last project from Armenia. The one from Poland is Energy Log Server, and it's going to be represented by a person who might sound very familiar to you, Koren right now I need to focus. Mamikonian. Sounds very Armenian to me. Are you with us, Koren? Yes. All right. Yeah. We can hear you, and we see your presentation. You are free to go.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to present our solution.
Yes, sorry, I needed to unmute my microphone. English is better because some people are listening to you from Polish side and not all of them can fluently speak Armenian. Koren, you have 1 minute, just to remind you, 1 minute. Koren, very understandable. We need to touch only the surface in nutshell because we have very limited time. Normal rules of demo day presentation. Any questions from our audience? Madam? Not this time. Okay. All right. I need to ask if there is somebody from the online side who is throwing a question. Though I haven't seen no, okay. So we are clear to go to the next one, to the next project, which is, by the way, the last project. And it's going to be represented by Christina Torran. And Christina will represent Easy DMark. Easy DMark, very beautiful name. There is your microphone and your stage and your audience.
Hi, I'm Christine from EasyDmark. EasyDmark is all-in-one email security and deliverability platform. So the fact is the 93 successful attacks worldwide started from email security issues, and there is a strong correlation. There is a strong correlation between emails deliverability and sales. If you spend $1 on email marketing, you will gain opportunity on average $38 in return. And so, but always email was very hard to deploy, and but email security standards can protect any organization and significantly increase email marketing ROI. So, but those are hard to deploy and risky. That's why a misconfiguration of any can lead to financial loss, data breaches, compliance issues, damaged brand reputation, and also poor inbox placement. So EasyDmark is a B2B SaaS which allows to solve email security and deliverability problems just in a few clicks. So why you need EasyDmark? You need EasyDmark to protect your email from unauthorized use and abuse. So with EasyDmark, you will have security and visibility, reputation and revenue protection, delivery and communication, and compliance. What is the added value of EasyDmark? Added value of EasyDmark for deploying email security standards is with minimized risks in a shortest period of time without expert knowledge and in a user-friendly platform. So EasyDmark always operates outside of the network border of your organization. And Our features are easy plus risk-free deployment, fast integration with no access to your confidential data, no need for expert knowledge, user-friendly platform, easy to understand reports, free trial available to ensure high-quality service and dedicated customer support. Main benefit is to identify legitimate sources easily and as a result to achieve reject policy quicker. So smart suggestion is to detect anomalies in your data quicker and deep dive with easy demarc, advanced filtering features. So who we are trusted by more than 20,000 plus organizations worldwide which have protected their email ecosystems with easy demarc solutions. You can see our partners like Ferrari, Pixar, Panasonic, etc. So also we are #1 by customer feedback in G2 platform for more than a year. 98 client satisfaction rate for second year customers. So we have different partner programs for MSPs, for resellers and distributors, and also for internet service providers. And why partner with us? Because we are the leading email security solution provider in terms of the widest range of DMARC coverage solutions packages in the market. We are trusted by the world's global leading brands and companies. We have 98.7% satisfaction rate for the second year customers, superior customer support with an option for dedicated support, and also comprehensive monitoring and analysis and seamless and intuitive DMARC integration. So we are ready to partner with companies in Europe and scale our solution. And why to partner with us? Because we have 99% satisfaction rate from our partners. This much, and so if you are interested in cybersecurity world, we will be happy to invite you to our newly moved office and to answer all your questions with our highly qualified support team members. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Thank you very much. The applause is well deserved, Christina. Let us check who wants to raise a question for now. Robert, all right. Cybersecurity expert after all.
Thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you too.
I just want to hear a little bit more about how it works. So do you play kind of like mediatory between the domain and the outer world? So kind of, so how it not so technically, but how it generally works. And the second one, is there a difference how you integrate with cloud-based email domains and like a traditional one?
How it works, you will just have to sign up and follow, because we are offering just a free trial version for 14 days. And after it, we send you reports concerning our standards, yes, DMARC, DKIM, and SPF standards, and also concerning to technical part. I think I can't answer because I'm not from support team. I'm from marketing team, and that's why I'm inviting you to our office to answer all your questions concerning technical part. Yes.
There will be actually a chance to make use of your kind invitation, because we are getting to the end of our meeting, and to those of you who treat this invitation seriously, can just follow you to
we'll host you, yes.
Gamini.
No, it's our
okay.
US address.
Oh, it's US. It would be a quite long trip.
We are in Zeytun district, yes.
All right. Lovely. Thank you, Katrina, then.
Thank you,
and,
too.
if I may invite Krzysztof and Marie and Krzysztof, just for a second to give maybe the final word. Maybe you can tell us what are your other plans and whether we can... Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for participation in this event. It's very important event for us, for the embassy. For the next year, we'll plan many activities like this, and the main part will be the call for proposals. We are going to organize for the best startup projects, and we are ready for that. Please taking into account your participation in future in our activities. Thank you so much for taking part in this event.
Thank you. I also would like to thank everyone, especially our panelists, for their time and especially for flying here for one day and being here, sharing all the insights with you. I am really looking forward for our further cooperation. And stay tuned for the next interesting events or announcements we are going to have, because as Krzysztof mentioned, there are still a lot of planned ahead, and I'm sure everything will be more interesting in the upcoming months and years. So thank you very much. And enjoy your evening.
Yes.
You are free now. And especially to our online guests now hearing us from Poland. And thank you, to all them and the startups who pitched and people who stayed with us all these 3 hours. Thank you once again. Bye.